Hi there. I'm so sorry I can't be with you tonight for the opening, but I did want to pop in and just say how much I enjoyed being the juror for this year. And thank you so much for allowing me the privilege and honor to do this. Um, the work was really diverse, and I had a lot of fun looking at it and trying to decide what to put in. The show was very well submitted to. There were about 180 submissions, and 31% got in. So I think if you got in, you should feel pretty good about that. You're showing with a lot of really quality artists from all around Alabama. Uh, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my jurying process. I try to think about three different concepts whenever I'm trying to decide the merits of a work of art. I think about the composition, and I think about the concept, and I think about the technique and the craftsmanship. I think all of those things need to be taken into account whenever you're making work. So I thought it would make sense to think about all those things as I was drawing the work. When it comes to what work gets in the show, that's a little bit different. But when you're trying to decide the prizes, and of course we had a very limited number of prizes, it was one per category and a best of show, and then we threw in some honorable mentions, which was fun to be able to shout out a few extra pieces. As far as criteria for, what makes a work have that little bit of extra something that I think raises it to the level of prize winner, it has to have a little something extra to kind of set it apart from the crowd. So that could be just, extra good, beautiful technique, a concept that is just very thought provoking. And of course, we hope all of the other elements are also working together, since they got into the show. But now we're looking for that, that little extra bump, the extra something that is going to raise it to the level of prize winner. So it could be, I think if you're doing a very common subject matter, then you have to do something a little bit different with it. You have to have, it has to be maybe bigger than we would expect, but it also has to also be good. It could be, just completely flawless technique and have all of the other supporting things, or it has, it's so complex that it keeps you coming back and back to view it. I mean, as artists, don't we ultimately want our viewers to linger longer over our work? So, so our work gets appreciated and enjoyed as much as possible, But complexity and perfect technique is not absolutely everything either. Sometimes it can be a very quiet piece that somehow just resonates, or it has a little bit of an unusual perspective on a subject that we've seen before. I think sometimes work is just, kind of demanding for that prize because of all of the things that I've just been talking about. And there were some pieces in the show that I thought qualified for that. Ted Metz's sculpture is just beautifully designed. It's, the symmetry of it, but then the concept, that we're all complicit in using our natural resources. So that what could be more timely, and how, how much that resonates with us. I think Karen Graffio's portrait beautiful big portrait. It's just glowed. I mean, and that, you know, the eye contact is just riveting. And I mean, it's just hard to walk away from. And let's see, you know, the quilt, let's see, Joyce Darby's quilt. I mean, it's, yeah, I wouldn't really have expected to, um, it's hard to know what kind of piece when you're working on a mixed media um, category, because there, gosh, we had so many different mixed medias to choose from. But you know, that piece in that category really stood out because it was so you know, beautifully rendered, you know, with fabric rather than paint. But you know, the values were there to explain this just beautiful scene that she was capturing. You know, the light glowed. It was about this cool sunset in the middle of winter, and it was just beautiful. And I think it really held up. You know, walking across the gallery and then looking back, it just pops off the wall. And so I think sometimes, you know, I will relate to a piece because it has that kind of wow factor, that, you know, stop you in your tracks kind of aspect to it. But you know, but then not all of the pieces that were prize winners were big pieces or complicated. Like the drawing category was let's see, Jameson Harper, I Don't Know You. And, you know, and that's just a quiet little portrait study. But you know, I thought it was striking because it had an unusual perspective for a portrait, which automatically takes us, you know, into sort of unknown territory. So it's a little bit interesting for that as well. And then the yellow diagonal lines that are kind of outlining the sides of the head, and they are but diagonally oriented, that automatically makes a more dynamic composition. And so, you know, that's a very quiet piece, but coming up to it and being able to study it in person and up close makes you really appreciate the quiet aspect of it. Let's see what else. The painting awards, the crop top by Joshua Hagel. I thought this was interesting because it, you know, it's a subject matter, figurative and plants, but after I looked at it for a while, I started appreciating the abstract quality of it. You know, the plants they have this certain rhythm to them, and the is mimicked in the folds of the fabric, and you know, and in the sway of the fabric. And so I thought I appreciated that for that. And it's good paint quality. And, you know, I look for those different things too, paint quality or expressive mark making, whether it's in sculpture or painting or drawing. Let's see what else. And then I have, for Best of Show, I picked The Reporter by Ashley Bond. And I will say that this painting surprised me from when I saw it on the computer screen till I saw it in person. You know, the size was obviously surprising and interesting. But, you know, this very realistic figure, but there was a lot of expression to the face, and there was a lot of tension in the body language. And, you know, it made me want to know more about this young man and his story. And I think that's what's so interesting about art, you know, is the best leaves us questioning and wanting to know a little bit more about the subject. And I think that's a very magical quality about art, you know, that it can make us want to know more. And I think those are the best, you know, the best pieces. I'll say that, you know, I've told you some very concrete things that I use to when I'm jurying, but you know, ultimately there is this connection that, you know, certain pieces are going to resonate with me And, try as I might to be completely objective, you have that pull to certain pieces. And, you know, sometimes it's really hard to know what the connection is or why you're exactly drawn to that piece. And I don't think it even has so much to do with work that's like mine or work that's not like mine. Um, in a way, I think it has more to do with just that, all of the, if it's a technique that I really like, that looks good to me. And then, of course, if the concept or the subject matter is something I can relate to. So try as I might to be completely objective. Every juror brings their own perspective to it. So I hope you will enjoy the pieces that I have chosen and appreciate where the prizes were awarded. It was really hard. I'll tell you, I could have given out a whole lot more awards, and I'm looking forward to seeing future shows and seeing all you guys in future shows. And I appreciate you putting yourself out there and allowing me the privilege of jurying your show. So thank you, and you guys have a great night tonight. I'm sorry I can't be there, but I'm thinking about you. Bye.